What is HTML? HTML is, I personally think, as the gateway to the world of web development. I said that because it is literally what you need to start in websites or applications that run in the browser. And by browser, I mean Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Safari, which is you are already familiar with, and I'm just trying to elaborate it. HTML serves as the structure of a website. Let's focus the entirety of our discussion with HTML as being used in building websites. You can build web applications and other stuff, but let's try to single-mindedly think of it as being used in building websites no matter what type of website it is. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which is being regulated and maintained by the Worldwide Consortium, or W3C. Think of it as the one who regulates HTML standards and other related things. To explain more about what is HTML in the web development world, let's try this scenario. In a real world scenario, I'm talking about the things you can perceive in the real world. HTML in the aspect of web development can be compared to building a house. It's like the frame of the house, the lumbers, the steel, the cement, the foundation, the windows, the doors, things you need to make the house stand from the ground up. HTML can be compared to that. It's the frame of your website. You can paint the house later in a web development that's using CSS or cascading style sheets. Then you can make the door's mechanism work, like opening the door, locking it. That can be represented as using JavaScript in web development. Another example is that, like the anatomy, the HTML is like the bone structure, just the bare bones, which just represents the frame of structure. Before we get into the real HTML usage, there are things we need to discuss first. HTML is a markup language as a whole, but there's what you call an HTML document, HTML page, and an HTML tag. An HTML tag. So let's try to digest these things one by one. Then maybe we can proceed to discussing more on HTML and HTML tags and their usage. The first is the HTML document. Just like a text file, to be recognized by your local machine, and by local machine I mean your computer, you have to add a .txt extension. Other extensions includes .docs, .pdf, .ppt, which is used to determine what type of document it is. HTML document refers to the HTML file that can be recognized by your local machine by its extension, which is a .html or .htm. However, the most commonly used and preferred by most developers is the usage of .html extension. HTML tag. So we have the HTML document. Now inside that document is where you can place the HTML tags. The HTML tag, literally the HTML, is composed of the opening HTML and closing HTML tags. All the other HTML tags, which there are about 140 of them, only make sense when they are wrapped inside this HTML tag. The literal HTML tag only needs to be declared once per HTML page. So what is, again, is an HTML page? You are already familiar with about page, contact page, home page, articles page, and other pages. These pages are built using HTML tags. The headings, the paragraphs, the tables, and all these things. So these are the things that makes up the frame of an HTML page. So in order to start working with HTML, you need to have an HTML document. Inside the document, you need to add literal opening and closing HTML tag. And inside these HTML blocks is where you can add the other HTML tags to build up your HTML page. So that's HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, in a nutshell.